Tech.com, and today we'll do a comparison review between the Nokia 6 and Huawei's 2017 GR5. It's also known as the Honor 6X or the Mate 9 Lite depending on the region you're in. Huawei's phone was launched toward the end of last year while the Nokia 6 was unveiled at the start of 2017. Both are mid-range devices carrying similar specs, so let's find out the differences and similarities of the two. Are you ready? Let's go! Both the Nokia 6 and the Huawei GR5 feature a 5.5-inch display with 2.5D glass. This means that the edges are curved to give a more natural look and feel when you hold the device and swipe the screen. In terms of the body's design, the Nokia 6 has sharp cornered edges while the GR5 sports a curved form factor which is easier on the hands. This doesn't necessarily mean that the Nokia's design is inferior, but rather it's up to the preference of the user. Checking out the ports, we have micro USB implemented on both devices for charging and transferring files. They are both situated at the bottom while the 3.5mm audio jack is also up top for the two handsets. The button placements are identical. There's the volume rocker and power button at the right side with the dual SIM card slot housed at the left. Both also employ a hybrid SIM setup. As for the fingerprint scanner, the Nokia 6 has one up front lined up with the capacitive buttons. The GR5, however, has its own situated at the rear right below its cameras. This has been how Huawei placed the sensor and it looks like they're sticking with it for now. Another difference of the two is that the GR5 has on-screen buttons for back and active apps, but the Nokia 6 still has them as capacitive buttons which are backlit. The physical dimensions of these devices are so closely alike, with the GR5 measuring 8.2mm at its thinnest and the Nokia 6 at 8.4mm. In terms of weight, the Nokia 6 is at 169 grams while the GR5 is slightly lighter at 162 grams. Last but not the least, the screen-to-body ratio of both devices is also almost tied at 71.8% for the GR5 versus 70.7% for the Nokia 6. The 5.5-inch display of both these handsets are fitted with a 1920 by 1080 resolution that translates to Full HD. Both are made of IPS screen which gives them good viewing angles. Picture quality for both is almost the same, although upon close inspection, we notice that we prefer the contrast and saturation better on the Nokia 6, but the GR5 has sharper details. The GR5 also produces brighter whites as seen on the video samples. In terms of software, the Nokia 6 already runs Android 7.0 Nougat out of the box, but the GR5 is still stuck at Android 6.0 Marshmallow with a planned upgrade to Nougat eventually. The GR5 of course has the EMUI or Emotion UI version 4.1. Power users heavy on games and media might prefer the Nokia 6 since it has a 64GB of internal storage ready to be filled with files, whereas the GR5 that we have only maxes out at 32GB. Both support memory expansion up to 128GB via microSD. The camera department is different for these two phones. The Nokia 6 carries a single sensor as its main shooter with a 16-megapixel lens. It is then equipped with face detection autofocus for faster focusing even in dimly lit areas. The GR5, however, employs dual rear cameras comprised of a 12 and 2-megapixel sensors for producing photos with DSLR-like depth of field and quality. It also has face detection focusing but lacks laser autofocus. Picture quality for the GR5 showed way less digital noise when we took photos in a dimly lit area. However, we noticed the Nokia 6 to provide more vibrant photos while the GR5 sticks to a more natural look. You may compare some of the shots taken with both cameras, but since we saw huge differences in keeping the digital noise down, we think the GR5 wins over the Nokia 6 in this department. Inside, the Nokia 6 is packed with a Qualcomm Snapdragon octa-core processor that's clocked at 1.4 GHz. On the other hand, the GR5 is also carrying an octa-core processor, but it's Huawei's own high-silicon Kirin 655 CPU at a higher 2.1 GHz. Unlike the 4GB RAM on the Nokia 6, the GR5 only has 3GB of RAM for multitasking and operating resource-heavy apps. Both performed well with no major crashes or lags. We were also able to install and play games on both devices, and they rendered them well with no glaring issues. To get a more objective result, we also ran our standard benchmark tests, and the Antutu result on the GR5 proved to be higher than the Nokia 6 at 57,945 versus 44,326, which is a big lead for the GR5. The Nokia 6 is installed with a 3000 mAh battery, which is smaller than the GR5's with its 3314 mAh capacity. We subjected them both to our battery test, and even though the GR5 has a bigger capacity, the Nokia 6 lasted longer at 10 hours and 31 minutes compared to 9 hours and 26 minutes. That's more than an hour of difference in favor of the Nokia 6. In conclusion, both devices proved to be capable devices in different aspects. Both are almost the same in form factor and display, but we prefer the GR5 in terms of camera and performance. The Nokia 6 though took home the cake in OS version and battery life. As for the price, the Nokia 6 is much more expensive at 18,590 compared to the 13,990 price tag of the GR5. This is because the Nokia 6 still isn't officially sold here in the Philippines, and when it does, we expect it to have a more affordable asking price. So that's it for this comparison review. If we were to ask you, which would you pick between the two? You may leave your answers in the comment section down below. Once again, this has been Kevin Francisco, and